there are more insects on Earth than any other class of animal. They make up more than 80% of all known species.
This place is absolutely buzzing.
But alarmingly, on Costa Rica's Osa Peninsula, their numbers are plummeting. Recent droughts, torrential rain, and devastating floods
Watch your step.
have had a catastrophic effect on insect numbers, and the impact is being felt far and wide throughout the rainforest. The natural world is full of delicate and complex webs of interactions between species. But the slightest disruption can have major consequences. I'm Patrick Aryee, biologist and filmmaker, and I'm traveling the world to investigate ecosystems undergoing dramatic change, identifying the impacts and what aftershocks may be yet to come. Costa Rica's tropical rainforests are a treasure trove of plant and animal biodiversity. Sandwiched between the calm waters of the Golfo Dulce to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the west, you'll find one of the most pristine rainforests on the planet.
The Osa Peninsula, where I am right now, has some truly impressive stats. This tiny patch of rainforest is home to more than twice the number of species found in the US and Canada. It's also been described as the most biologically intense place on the planet, making it the perfect place to start my journey.
Over the last 10 years, scientists studying insects in this rainforest have noticed a sharp decline in numbers. They believe this is being caused by changes to the weather here. I'm meeting up with Jim Cordoba, one of the Osa Peninsula's leading entomologists.
Okay, so where are you going to take me, Jim? And lead the way.
Yeah, I want to show you a really amazing tree that we have in this amazing area.
I love exploring.
Yeah, let's see what we can find inside of this jungle.
85% of all animals that live on the Osa Peninsula are insects. They're impacted by the slightest of weather changes, and that makes them one of the best indicators of a changing environment.
Many insects, they emerge at the same time where flowers start blooming. So sometimes we get dry conditions that resemble like we are getting into the dry season. The trees start blooming, and then we get huge rains that kill all the insects that are going to pollinate the flowers. And then we don't get fruits or enough fruits for feed, for example, the squirrel monkeys or many other species that we have inside of the rainforest.
Fig trees are a mainstay here. In fact, they're found in every tropical lowland forest in the world and are a cornerstone of the entire forest ecosystem.
A massive tree of fig can develop tons of fig fruits in just a small season. That is why they are like a buffet for a lot of the species that we have inside of the rainforest. Toucans love it, monkeys love it, tapirs love it, peccaries, coatis, butterflies, bats, and hundreds of species you will find associated with those delicious fruits.
The fig tree's survival depends on one insect. And this insect relies entirely on the fig trees for much of its life cycle.
Okay, I'm cutting right now. And you can see the wasp. Look, this teeny tiny creature that is here inside with long tails is a wasp.
A fig is a fruit unlike any other. It's actually an inverted flower with petals on the inside. Female fig wasps access the flower through a tiny hole and lay their eggs inside. When the eggs hatch, the female wasps, already dusted with pollen from inside the fruit, leave to find a fig of their own. The males, however, face a far gloomier future.
the males don't have wings at all. So that means that they are not able to escape and to go somewhere else. The males never see the light of the daytime at all in their lives.
For a female fig wasp to reproduce and lay eggs, requires them to find a fruit with males already waiting inside. There are almost 1,000 species of fig trees, yet all of them can only be pollinated by a certain species of wasp. It's the product of millions of years of co-evolution, fine-tuned to an extraordinary degree.
Basically, we don't have ficus tree without fig wasp, and we don't have fig wasp without ficus tree. It's incredible mutualism, symbiotic relationship.
The rainforest is full of such life-sustaining relationships. Many of them involve insects of various kinds. That's why their decline is keeping Jim up at night.
Can you tell me more about, this loss of insects? What numbers are we talking about?
In Costa Rica, we estimate that we have more than 500,000 of species, and 350,000 species of them are insects.
But that's already after a 40% loss.
It doesn't mean
correct?
that we are losing the species, it's that we are losing the biomass of insects.
Okay.
It's a disaster for plants and insects with mutually dependent relationships, like the fig wasp. But pollination is just one of the many important roles insects perform in this rainforest.
We are going to try and attempt to catch some blue morpho butterflies. They are absolutely stunning. The males have these beautifully blue, iridescent kind of shimmer to them. Okay, we're going to try and catch this blue morpho. Here we go. Ooh, okay, we'll try.
Come on, Patrick! Go, 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 go! Run, 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 run! Go ahead! Run, run, fast, fast, fast! Go, 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 go!
The blue morpho is one of the largest butterflies in the world. But that doesn't make it any easier to catch. Clearly, it takes more than just enthusiasm to master.
Good job. Almost got it. Ooh. Oh, you got it?
Yes!
No way! That was, dude, you've got skills. I was like, he's not gonna catch it. So, like a little ninja. Wow. Okay, let me grab that. You can see like speckles of blue. You can even see even though it's brown, it's brownish on the underside, it's still iridescing somewhat. And there we go. You can see at the top side of the wing, all those scales. That's what's providing that color.
This butterfly is a wonder of evolutionary design. The brown underside of its wings provides camouflage against birds and other insects. And those eye spots act to intimidate would-be predators.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's a really incredible optic illusion, right? So would you like to see inside?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes, definitely. As we're holding it right now, you're not damaging
No.
the butterfly, are you?
I am not.
So it's not actually blue,
It's-
as Jim is pointing out. This is structural coloration. Because of the way the scales are arranged structurally, it's causing light to refract and separate into its different components, in particular this blue wavelength that we're seeing. Yes. That was awesome. Wow.
The alternating brown and blue make it seem like it's disappearing each time it flaps its wings. And that makes it much harder for predators to lock onto it.
There are some species, as these species of blue morpho that we saw, that they helps to decompose, fruits underground. So that is basically one of the roles that they play.
So you're telling me that these blue morphos aren't pollinators, but rather they are crucial in the decomposition of things like fruit.
Exactly. So that is why you find them around the fig fruits.
Codependence between plants and insects is well documented. Plants produce flowers to attract pollinators that drink nectar from the flowers, and in the process carry pollen from plant to plant, allowing them to reproduce and bear fruit. Without insects, there's no pollination, and without pollination, there's no fruit. And without fruit, there'll be no seeds to produce new trees. Insects are indispensable to this life cycle. They're also a major food source for many other animals in the forest.
This place is so spooky. So you might be asking myself, why am I walking in the rainforest after nightfall? Well, 80% of Costa Rica's wildlife comes at night. So to get an idea of how this place is doing, I have to be here right now. And just listen to that sound. This place is absolutely buzzing. Buzzing with life.
Oh, he pinched me. Oh, ow, no, ow. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Such a joker. Wow, look at that.
This is a really incredible creature that looks so amazing. It's like an alien.
That is one of the meanest faces I've ever seen. It looks like it could literally just jump out at me and devour my face.
I know, people get really scary when they see this kind of animals.
It is an arachnid, so it's related to spiders, but it isn't actually a spider itself.
Exactly. The English name is tailless whip scorpion, but it's not a scorpion and it's not a real spider. It's something in between in the evolution of this group of animals.
Despite their fearsome appearance, whip scorpions are harmless to humans. They hunt at night and eat small frogs, cockroaches, and other large insects.
If you get a close-up of this, you realize it has so many spikes. It's like a trap. So they take the insects and penetrate the body, putting all the spikes inside of the prey until the prey just die. And they start just sucking the liquids of the insects that they feed on.
Can I hold it?
Yes, of course. Yeah, gentle, come on. They move really fast.
Whoa.
Wow, wow, wow.
Oh my goodness.
You saw it? They are really, really, really fast. Looks so weird, but it's a really incredible animal. Look at that really bizarre movement that it's doing. It's like scanning everything around you right now, trying to detect what you are and what it is right now. So normally you find it on the tree trunks or on the rocks sometimes.
That is so cool. We know that this whip scorpion likes to eat insects. Does anything eat this?
Oh yeah, for sure. We have really giant geckos here. So, of course, it's a nice nibble for them.
So, a very important part of the food chain.
Totally. They are super important.
So here we've got this UV torch here. And so by shining that out here in the dark, it's going to light up.
The ultraviolet light reveals colors and patterns we wouldn't otherwise be able to see. It's called biofluorescence, and it happens when the animal's skin alters the wavelength of the light that's hitting it. Almost everything we see here, from scorpions to frogs, are species that feed on insects. There are even some small mammals that rely on insects for food. And that is the next relationship I want to explore in detail. Over the past decade, Costa Rica has been experiencing dramatic changes in weather patterns, which in itself is impacting insect numbers. Bats are well-known insectivores and are highly sensitive to environmental change. So what effects are these changes having on them?
I'm going to be meeting up with two bat researchers, Ragda Sanchez and Bernal Rodriguez. They are a husband and wife team who've dedicated their lives to studying rainforest bats. So just up the path, we've got a really interesting setup called a mist net. Can you explain how that's going to help us see these bats in greater detail?
So we put them across the trail. The bats use echolocation, so that's why we need that this net is very fine, because otherwise with echolocation they can detect it very easy. So we need a very, very thin or fine material, so that take the bats more time to detect it, and so they cannot stop, and then they get inside the net.
There are 5 main types of bat in Costa Rica. The most abundant are fruit-eating and insect-eating bats.
Okay, this is the first one.
What's the first one? Let's have a look.
The first bat to get caught in the mist nets is a frugivore, or fruit-eating bat.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, my goodness.
And the proof is right there on Ragda's glove.
All those black things, those are seeds. So when they are flying, during the fly, they are defecating, so they disperse or move the seeds all over the forest, and that helps to regeneration.
It's a bargain forged by millions of years of co-evolution. The trees produce fruits for the bats to feed on, and the bats spread their seeds and help the trees to reproduce.
So the fingers are very, very long. So this is the thumb, and you can count 5 fingers.
As mammals, their bone structure is essentially the same as ours, just modified to help them.
Elongated, yeah.
Yeah, elongated so that they can fly. And that membrane is literally made out of skin.
Yeah.
Wow, look at it, so cool. You know, it's funny because people are so afraid of bats, but once you see them up close, and they are quite cute.
You know, in the world there are 1,400 species of bats, and only 3 of them eat blood. And all of them are here in Latin America, not in Transylvania. The other one is an insectivorous bat, but the ones that we call them gleaning bats, because they eat insects that are on the leaf, not flying, and that's very rare.
Ooh, what an amazing little creature. Oh, that is fantastic. And look at that, look. Wow.
I mean, imagine 115 different animals living in the same place. So they need to look for different kinds of food and then strategies to get that food. So
Different strategies and
Yes.
occupying different niches in some ways.
exactly. The bats are synchronized in the season where there are more fruits and when there are more insects is when the bats are in the reproductive season. So if they start to have babies, but the plants don't have fruits, that's a problem. For example, that's a problem. So they don't have enough food or fruits for their babies, and that affects the population. So yes, they depend of the fruits and the insects, and all this is closely related with climatic.
Insect-eating bats depend on an abundant supply of insects, and fruit-eating bats depend on a steady availability of fruit, which again depends on an abundant supply of insects. The trees themselves depend on the bats to disperse their seeds. Some seeds they defecate as they fly. Others fall to the ground beneath shelters known as roosts.
We have 1,400 species on the world of bats, but just less than 25 build the roost. Mostly of bats use a pre-existent roost, like a caves, hollow trees, buildings, but I will show you 10 roosting bats. It's very special.
I'm really excited to see these bats. I've never seen tent-making bats before.
Unlike at night, we're not going to be using nets to catch them. We'll be doing it the hard way, trying to spot the tents that they've made.
This is a licoria.
Ah, okay, so we have our first... So this is an example of a type of plant that bat would use.
Yeah.
One of
make
them.
a
Yeah.
tent.
Sometimes this is perfect for the invert boat, like this.
Okay, so we'll look out for these. Fingers crossed we find them.
Unsurprisingly, the bats prefer plants with big, broad leaves for their tents. Once they find the right leaf, they use their teeth to re-engineer them.
So you can see here,
Tent.
these are the
Oh,
bats
yeah, here.
like here and here.
Right.
So with these bites, the leaf fall down in this way. You can see this is the normal shape of the leaf.
Yeah, a nice little shaded area.
That's a tent.
Where?
There, the second leaf.
A second. Oh, yeah, okay.
So you can see that
Nice.
right in here.
Okay, so what Ragdar's pointing out, when you look at these leaves here, they all look the same. But when you just focus your attention to one of them, the second leaf up, you can spot that it's like slightly folded. And so to the untrained eye, you just might think that it's a wilted leaf. It essentially makes a little microclimate.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like your home.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Okay, let's see if we can find some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Banal spots another roost. Oh, yes, yes, yes. That is phenomenal.
When you see a single bat, it's a male in this species. But if you see, for example, 4 bats, it's a 3 females and 1 male.
Okay, so the males like to make harems.
Exactly. This species are Artibedo, but sorry, they can build at least 6 or 7 different kind of tents in different species of plants.
Oops.
This is a tent, and here you can see all the seeds that bats eat during the night. They brought from the forest. This is these fruits. And now you can see the seedlings and many seeds here.
Which have a very...
The bats don't necessarily need to swallow the seeds to disperse them. They just have to carry the fruit back to the tents. They eat the pulp and discard the large seeds at the center. And that's what makes these tiny mammals so important to the ecosystem.
So whether it's birds or bats, not only are they giving this forest a boost when it comes to regeneration, they're also bringing new types of seed and helping to increase biodiversity.
As insects slowly disappear, so too do fruits, leaving many bats facing a food shortage, impacting the vital role they play in forest regeneration. But they're not the only small mammals that rely on insects and fruit. Squirrel monkeys are also seeing changes in their population numbers. Costa Rica usually has 2 distinct seasons, the rainy season and the dry season. But in recent years, the rains have continued beyond their regular cycle.
Someone who knows the impact of these effects all too well is primatologist Daniela Solano. She specializes in studying the monkeys that call this place home. And she's noticed a bizarre change in their behavior that could spell disaster for this fragile paradise. Sounds are so scary. Luckily, those are just howler monkeys. Early start to the morning today, up at 3:45. It's now 4:30. I'm trying to figure out which way to go. Okay, this way. So yeah, we have to wake up really early because the animals we're trying to track down are really, really early risers. Okay, I think there she is. Let's go, Daniela.
Great.
We're at the squirrel monkeys.
They are sleeping in the pond and they are soon starting to move.
Oh yeah, look.
This troop of squirrel monkeys is just waking up. First order of business is breakfast. They'll spend most of the day foraging for food. As omnivores, they'll eat just about anything they can get their hands on.
It's really important right now is the first hours of the morning. They really try to get the most food right now when it's not so hot, because then sometimes at midday they need to rest because it's too hot. Well, we have to be here because you see, as soon as the first ray of light appear, they start moving.
There are 28 individual monkeys in this troop, but Daniela and her team once counted 99 at this sleeping site. At this hour, it's easy to keep track of them. But once they're on the move, we'll have to stay on our toes.
How do you keep track of them when you can't see them?
Yeah, sometimes you can hear chirps.
Well, that's what we can hear right now.
Yeah, the chirp, they sound like birds sometimes. Yeah. It's confusing.
Yes, because literally about 20 minutes ago, they were still in that tree, but no movement or very little movement. And other than...
See, that's the
alarm, noisy neighbors.
The alarm clock of the forest.
Yeah.
Squirrel monkeys cover great distances to find food, up to 10 kilometers a day, sometimes even more. In order to build a clear picture of their behavior, feeding patterns, and changes to the group dynamics, Daniela's field research involved following the squirrel monkeys every day for 6 months. On several occasions, Daniela observed the troop heading into palm oil plantations in search of food.
I think it was at the end of the rainy season where there's a very low availability of insects and fruits. So I'm wondering if this group is gonna go to their plantations or keep in the forest.
Daniela usually moves through the forest with ease, but having me and the camera crew in tow is somewhat hindering her progress. While the monkeys follow treetop routes, we're down below following winding trails deep inside the jungle.
Okay, so Daniela's gone up ahead. Just trying to catch up with her. Trying to keep an eye on the monkeys. Also watch where we put our feet. Found anything, Daniela?
See, the monkeys are here, and we're just, you can see them like jumping above us. If you hear, there are some, they're going that way. We're still not sure. I think they're gonna keep in the forest, but they are doing a different route than the previous days.
Mm-hmm.
See, you can see the monkeys jumping through one branch here.
Unlike many other South American primates, squirrel monkeys don't have a prehensile tail that can grip onto branches. Instead, they use their long tails like a counterweight to keep their balance.
Incredible. I love it when they just take that death-defying leap from one branch to another. It's like this moment where you just hold your breath and then they catch the branch. And they're just like, yeah, whatever. They're kind of like show-offs.
They are really agile. They are good at jumping, climbing up, climbing down.
The monkeys have stopped at a feeding spot. When they find food in a tree like this, they're careful not to take it all. So they always know food will be here when they need it.
It's awesome being out here in the forest and having someone like Daniela and Zerda really, like their eyes are so well trained and they're so experienced in just understanding the group dynamics and where these monkeys are most likely to go. Without them, I'd just be at a loss. I'm just conscious of us losing sight of the monkeys. Where do you think they've gone, Zerda? There we go. Okay.
The monkey's life cycle is inextricably linked to the timing of the wet and dry seasons in Costa Rica. Now, the shift in weather patterns is having a direct impact not only on them, but on all the species within this forest.
Yeah, I think everybody should get worried that we are losing the patterns in the rainy days, the amount of rain, the amount of insects we have in the rainforest. The most brilliant scientists of Costa Rica, the ones that have studied since the 70s the populations of insects and nature, are giving these warnings long time ago, and I think we are now seeing the results.
One of these results can be seen during the squirrel monkey's reproductive period.
I'm so confused because I didn't see any pregnant female. And this is also a warning. They are adapted to give birth when there's a high peak of food availability. For squirrel monkeys, it happens in the dry season, at the beginning of the dry season in January, February.
Squirrel monkeys have an unusually short breeding season of just 2 weeks. They reproduce quickly, and all the females give birth around the same time, carefully synchronized to coincide with the end of the rainy season. But this makes the squirrel monkeys particularly vulnerable to shifts in the climate.
One theory behind why we're seeing fewer pregnancies in squirrel monkeys comes down to food availability. The monkeys just won't get pregnant if the environment into which their babies are going to be born isn't accommodating. Now, we see the same thing in humans. High stress levels can be a barrier to getting pregnant. Now, in the monkeys, this stress comes down to their two food sources, or rather the lack thereof it, insects and fruits. And in recent years, they're both becoming harder and harder to find.
This food scarcity not only affects the monkeys' feeding and reproductive habits, it also forces them to leave the safety of the rainforest in a desperate search for food. While native trees struggle with the shifts in rainfall and unexpected droughts, man-made palm oil plantations aren't affected in the same way. These oil palms are farmed under controlled conditions. They always bear fruit, and the monkeys can't help but be drawn to them. But taking these fruits can create conflicts with humans, putting the squirrel monkeys at risk. Leaving the safety of the rainforest is dangerous for wildlife. A shortage of fruit and seeds in the rainforest has also driven peccaries beyond the forest boundaries in search of food. Peccaries are small pig-like animals. Once hunted to near extinction, they're essential to the survival of the forest. They're considered ecosystem engineers, animals that physically alter their environment in ways that benefit other species.
The wild-leaf peccary, it is the biggest species of the two that we have in Costa Rica, and it's really important because it's a herbivore, it's a seed dispersal species, but also is the main prey of jaguar. So it's really important, not just for the ecosystem, but to sustain the keystone species of the forest, which is the jaguar.
Hey guys. Hola. ¿Qué tal?
Hola.
Bien. Bien.
Bien.
Yes. Pura vida.
Juan Carlos and a team of local volunteers are keeping an eye on the Osa Peninsula's recovering peccary population. They're taking us into the forest, on the borders of a protected area, so we can better understand how the weather is affecting the peccaries.
Is there anything that we need to be aware of before we come into contact with them?
In the group, there is always alpha males, and these ones are in charge of defending the group if there is any threat. So whenever they feel like they are in danger, this alpha male come to you and try to scare you off.
What happens if they charge us?
Well,
do we run away?
It's very intimidating, but you never have to run. You have to hold your ground and just stay there, because if you run, they can go after you and, can...
A heavy downpour makes our trek through the forest extremely difficult. But the rain has made it easier to spot some exciting tracks in the mud.
Oh, whoa, what we got? Is that jaguars?
Jaguar.
Jaguar, where?
Yes.
That way?
Yes.
Nice. So right here,
Exactly.
so we can see signs of jaguar going after peccary or following in the tracks of the peccary.
Exactly. And as we were saying, as long as there are
peccaries, there will be jaguars.
Yes.
So it's as important as conserve jaguars as peccaries as well, to have both species.
So that explains why, you're a jaguar researcher, but you also study the behavior, the dynamics, the populations of their prey species like peccaries.
Exactly. There is a lot of understanding of the ecology of jaguar if you understand ecology of the prey species as well.
Only thing is, we can see signs and tracks, but no actual animals.
Hard.
They're probably hiding away like...
And not only us, the jaguar is having a hard time finding them as well.
Yeah.
So it's not only us.
Peccaries used to roam these forests by the thousands, but a combination of hunting and encroaching farmland pushed them to the brink of extinction.
So there's some remains of a dead peccary.
Some of these rib bones here, some of the vertebrae.
This is still a problem in here. And of course, we're working on it. We're trying to find solutions and working with communities, but it's definitely a good idea to have a community like this one concerned and doing conservation efforts for this species. Look at this.
Ah,
Here it is.
okay, so here's the skull. Gosh, quite big.
Yeah, but it was an adult, definitely. You can see that because it was fully grown adult. All the teeth, it's well developed and
And it's teeth or fangs almost.
Exactly. So this is what is the most powerful weapon for them because they can use it for crushing seeds that are really, really hard and eat them inside.
The peccary's canines are a marvel of natural design. They're sharp, powerful, and they can crush the rock-hard nut that's inside this fruit with minimal effort.
This
This is the
palm
fruit from the palm.
Yeah.
The scarcity of food in the forest and the abundance here in the plantations takes the peccaries away from the ecosystem that so desperately needs them. It brings them into direct contact with humans, and outside of the protected parks, poaching is much harder to control. Our guide Trino used to be a poacher. He changed sides a few years ago, and everyone in the family are now peccary protectors.
Teníamos animales para la carne, todo lo que sembráramos. Entonces decidimos no comer más carne monte de animales del bosque. Eso es como un vicio. Yo digo que el ser cazador es como el alcohólico. Cuesta dejar el vicio.
Ahorita la pasión más grande es con los chanchos, porque ellos están siendo muy atacados, muy amenazados. Y las manadas cuando bajan acá son brutalmente agredidas. Y ver el sufrimiento de ellos le afecta también a uno, ver cómo sufren. Entonces la pasión aumenta por ellos, por saber que están a salvo.
Supuestamente, cuando nosotros iniciamos aquí, aproximadamente la manadita de chancho de monte que habían eran 70. Y ahorita aproximadamente pueden andar unos 150.
En un espacio como de 3 años más o menos.
En 2 años y medio. Sí.
When you're out in the rainforest, have you started to notice the more and more time you spend there, different connections that you couldn't see before?
Entonces nos damos cuenta que al proteger el chancho aumentó el jaguar, ¿verdad? Porque ellos van de la mano. Y al aumentar esas especies, otro montón también salieron. Y es muy maravilloso ver animales nuevos que no se acercaban por la baja en lo que era la cacería y todo eso. Y ahora ha incrementado muchísimo.
A break in the rain brings us luck.
You can see that the peccaries were here.
We're definitely getting closer.
Look at this. This is what fresh tracks of peccaries look like.
Okay.
And we've been told that there are babies.
Oh, look,
so
there.
you can see that
Right there.
mini prints in here.
So we've got adults and we've got little young peccaries as well.
I know we see tracks like everywhere around, but it's not that common to find these animals in here. So we're lucky to be around one of these groups and hopefully we'll see them.
This is it, this moment. got the entire group walking towards us.
Can you hear the click of the teeth?
Making that grunting sound. And then that's a male. That's the sound that they're making with their teeth.
As a social species, they have a lot of sounds that they can let the others know that they're here. We use camera traps to monitor these species because it's really rare to see them. And but when we have these moments, it's like when it's really, worth it that you realize that you're doing the right thing. I think they're moving that way, so why don't we try to go ahead and go a little bit up the hill?
Perfect. Oh yeah, look, little baby's there. A herd of peccaries.
Yes.
100 strong. We've even got a very, very brief glimpse of the newborns, the babies.
It's fantastic news. It seems that with this protection, the peccaries are managing to thrive, even through these adverse conditions.
Do you genuinely believe, if these peccaries were extinct or they were removed, this rainforest wouldn't be the same?
If we took out these peccaries out of the ecosystem, the whole ecosystem would collapse. There wouldn't be regeneration, there wouldn't be openings, there wouldn't be wallows for frogs and toads to thrive, and the jaguar wouldn't have anything to eat.
What does it mean to all of you to be doing this work? Because you're doing it for free. This is your spare time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you enjoy it? I mean, look at you guys, you're just sweating, out of breath. Is it worthwhile? Is this something that you really feel is something?
Una alegría, ¿verdad? Lo hacemos por las futuras generaciones.
Creemos que es necesario dejarle una razón, un motivo de cambio a todo nuestro país, Costa Rica, y por eso emprendimos esta labor, esta tarea para decirle al país que sí se pueden hacer los cambios.
It's been an incredible journey through the Costa Rican rainforest. This astonishing ecosystem is built upon the most intricate of wild connections. Symbiotic relationships between fruits and insects, and between seed dispersers and plants, are powerful reminders of the true nature of interconnectivity and just how fragile it all is. The success story of peccaries, however, offers us some hope that the entire ecosystem has the vitality and resilience to make a swift recovery. The rainforests of the Osa Peninsula are pulsating with life. As a jewel in the crown of global biodiversity, it's they that present a beacon of hope for the future of our wild world.